The House is now looking at the budget passed last night by the Senate. The budget makes room for a tax reform plan that some economists say would add about $1.5 trillion to the federal deficit over the next 10 years. KBOI2's Michelle Macaluso takes a look at the future of tax reform.
The concurrent resolution as amended is agreed to.
After passing a budget Thursday night, Republicans are now one step closer to fulfilling their campaign promise to overhaul the tax code.
We have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to replace a failing tax code that holds Americans back with one that actually works for them.
President Trump praised the Senate in a tweet Thursday morning. This now allows for the passage of large-scale tax cuts and reform, which will be the biggest in the history of our country. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul was the only GOP senator to vote against the budget because it increases the deficit by $1.5 trillion over the next 10 years.
Because the Senate passed a budget using a fast-track process, Republicans can now push through a tax bill without a single Democrat. They only need a simple majority instead of the usual 60. Now the plan goes back to the House, where the lower chamber will have to pass a budget first before they move on to tax reform.
They're one step closer, but there's a lot more obstacles that they have.
Federal budget and tax policy expert Seth Hanlon says fiscal hawks in the House might not sign off on the bill because it's not revenue neutral.
There's a lot of actual deficit hawks in the House. We'll have to see if they actually put their money where their mouth is next week. And I think there's a lot of also concern that the tax bill is going to raise taxes on middle-class families, particularly in states that use the state and local tax deductions.
Democrats argue the budget is bad for the middle class. House Speaker Paul Ryan hopes to vote on a tax bill in early November. On Capitol Hill, I'm Michelle Macaluso.
Now to our national question of the day. Are you confident that Congress can approve Trump's tax reform plan? To vote, head to our website, idahonews.com. Now, there's our website right there. Go to the news tab in the top left corner, and then in column 3, right down at the bottom, you see question of the day. We'll read you the results a little later in this newscast, so stick around.
A Cub Scout is heartbroken after being